Well, welcome to another episode of Can We Talk? This week we'll be talking about video games. So let's jump right into this and meet the panel. We have an awesome panel here. If you guys could just go around, share your name, and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
I'm Pam. I'm on staff here at InspireChurch. I oversee the prayer and healing ministry. I've been here since 2000. So I have been with Pastor Mike for a very long time, and it's just an honor to be here today. And I'll probably give the perspective from the area of prayer or from the area of a spiritual level when we look at gaming.
Awesome. Thank you, Pastor Pam. Next.
Yes, I am Alvin, facilities guy, Twitch Tuesday, the 9 yards. Been here since 2010, freshman year in high school. Pastor Pam already knows that. But yeah, just happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, Alvin. Next.
I'm Victoria Ashlock. I am a paralegal, but I serve here at InspireChurch. I actually serve at the Mililani location as production lead.
Awesome. Thank you, Victoria. And last but certainly not least.
How you doing? I'm Cedric Brown. I work I'm a purchasing manager in the corporate world down in Honolulu, but I also serve here at the waikele location as one of the sound engineers. I'm glad to be here.
Sweet. Well, it's great having you guys here. So let's jump right into this. The first question, how many of you all play video games?
I am a gamer.
I'm a gamer.
Okay. Awesome. Pastor Pam, video games?
No, I don't. Candy Crush, does that count?
Okay, come on.
She's a gamer.
Come on, you gotta love the Candy Crush.
No, actually zero to no time on gaming.
Yeah, for sure. The next question, we're just gonna jump right into the deep end. Sound good?
Yeah.
Can video games edify, or are they merely entertainment?
Ooh.
So I would kind of say yes, it could edify. There's just kind of like our At the Movie series, how you can watch a movie and you can apply some sort of moral lesson from it. I believe that video games can serve that same purpose.
That's good. Thank you for sharing.
I know you want to answer.
Go ahead.
I gotta shoot straight. I think it edifies. Like the way I play, I'm always with community. I don't do it if I'm by myself, I'm like I have the motivation to, you know. But as soon as like someone's like, "Hey, dude, I want to hang out with you. I want to play," I'm like, I'm all about it, you know. So I think so for the community, for the fellowship, for sure.
Yeah, I would definitely say. So I do play with my son online. We live in the same house, of course, but we play together. So I think it's just how you perceive and how you conduct yourself online too, as well as a Christian too, as well. So I think it can be positive and negative how you use it.
Yeah. Pastor Pam, as someone who doesn't play video games, why do you think some Christians might avoid video gaming, or why do you avoid video gaming?
I don't think I avoid it. I think it's because I think from my personal experience, because we work in the prayer and healing ministry, and I see some of the negative results of what happens, you know, and I know that you have a lot in gaming where you socialize, you get along with other people, you can learn different things. That's all good, but it's all in moderation. It's when you see people get to the level of a compulsive and addictive behavior. And that's where I get concerned, because there's a very spiritual element behind it. And so I don't play it not because I'm saying it's a bad thing. No, it's just I don't have a lot of time on my hands, but I see what it can do to people.
I'm so with you. So with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to share? Why do you agree with her in that point, as someone who loves video games?
Yeah, actually, Pastor Pam, I'm probably the heaviest gamer out of all of us, but I went to a personal session to just get prayed over for it. Like, it literally considered it a prayer item. And that was the most freeing thing. You know, and I can agree with her. Like, I love that you didn't say, I don't avoid it, which is so great.
No.
Because sometimes from a gamer's perspective, we think, like, oh, we can't even talk about it, you know.
Yeah.
But I love that. You know,
Yeah.
it's not so much of a bad thing, but just
I
like,
think when Jesus taught, us, he said, what is the two most important things? It's love God and love others.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Come with a religious spirit and say, no, you can't do that?
Right.
No, it's in moderation. I believe in the power of the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is a great counselor. He's a spirit of truth, and he's going to be the one to convict each and every person, whether it's a addictive or compulsive behavior within themselves.
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say, when you say addictive, I just found out a few minutes ago in the car when my son was having this conversation, and I found out. I just realized during COVID-19 he was addicted to gaming, addicted big time. We used to have to monitor his gaming time because it was very addictive during COVID, the pandemic, online schooling, all that kind of stuff. So as a parent, as a father, as a dad, that's one thing that just stuck out to me was the addictive part. So now he of course he plays basketball, so he's back in school, so it's a little bit different now. He plays every now and then online with his friends or whatever. But so he just told me that today on the way to the car. It was kind of interesting. So I like, yeah, we'd like monitor his gameplay, screen time, all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
It's true.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing that's always kind of interesting, because video games sometimes get a bad rap.
Yeah.
And especially the amount of time that people put into playing video games. And
Right.
People are like, oh, you shouldn't be playing video games. So a question that I thought of, what's the difference between binge watching a movie or like several hours of like a TV show versus video gaming for several hours? Because I feel like sometimes people are cool with binge watching, like spending hours after hours watching Netflix or whatever streaming platform. But if someone's like, oh yeah, I spent 8 hours playing video games, it's like, oh no. So what do you guys think sort of the difference is, and why there is that differing opinion between video games or rather than consuming like TV, Netflix, all of that?
I think if you if you look online on different videos on the topics of gamers, and you look at some of the issues that happen in different countries and in different age groups where there are some people that develop that addictive behavior on video gaming, it's easy to just come to that conclusion that, okay, for someone to spend 8 hours, maybe even 12 hours, playing a video game, that's a bad thing. But it's also interesting that we don't see a lot of documentaries and information that's out there about people who can binge watch TV or movies or whatever for that certain amount of time. So there could be that stigma that if you play for 8+ hours on a weekend, you have nothing else to do, it's raining, or maybe all your friends are working, or you're just like, you know what, I had a rough week, I just want to stay inside, I want to play my games and, just kind of de-stress, detox that way. I think it does come down to moderation. It all comes down to moderation. When you talk about anything, gaming, watching TV, how much time you spend at the beach. I mean, if it disrupts your life to the point where all you do is, stay inside and you don't go out to, either take care of yourself or your family, or you're not monitoring your screen time enough to understand that, there could be, certain psychological things that can happen. Like you could, get depressed if you're using too much screen time, or you're not taking care of your own mental health. I don't know if that kind of makes sense, but
no, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it's just, it's okay to game, like, for 8 hours or whatever every now and then, but if it's something that you're doing consistently, like every single day, then it could be something that you have to kind of sit back and go, hey, I mean, I could be the same for Netflix or, whatever.
And I think I agree with you too, because, you might have your down day, it's out raining, it's like, okay, hey, let's play.
Mm-hmm.
But it's when you get to the level of it becomes an addiction, and if you can't get on it, you're in school and all you're thinking about is I got to get home and I got to go connect up, with my game,
Yeah.
or and it absolutely takes control. Now it's an addiction, and if it would be in the same sense, if you're talking about somebody that binge watches, the television shows and all the series and everything, it becomes an addiction, and that's the issue that I get concerned about. Is because if it is a passion, that's one thing. But if you're addicted to it and you have to have it because your dopamines get stimulated and you need to have that, anything like, it could be like an addiction to drugs, an addiction to alcohol, it could be like food, any kind of addiction where you have to have it,
Yeah.
then there's a problem.
That's a word.
That's
I
good.
like
Yeah.
That is good.
Thank you.
That is really
I
good.
like
Really
that. I think for me, there really is no difference. I think if you're gonna spend your time 8 hours and you're gonna watch a screen for 8 hours, I mean, you put a controller in your hand, it became a video game. Like that's. I just gotta say it clear cut. It's all whatever you do in 8 hours. It is. I mean, it's the reason why they call it binging, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like you're brainlessly just. And the same thing for us for being video games. Our mind is just like in it, right? I love that she used the word passion. Like I get passionate. If you don't know, like I love Call of Duty. I'm all about it. But I even watch the pros play, like how pro football players watch when you're throwing a football out, right? But it's all about I gotta say, like I do. I mean, I don't. It's been a while since I played 8 hours of straight games, but I gotta say it's the same to me. Whether you're playing a game or you're watching whatever it is, the latest flicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like you shared, Call of Duty. I'm a big Call of Duty buff, just
Let's
as
go.
you know. And you said your son was addicted through COVID,
Yeah.
and that was sort of their social interaction,
Yeah,
because they
true.
didn't have that.
Yeah.
They didn't have school. They weren't able to hang out with friends. So for most of them, their social interaction was online
Right.
via
It's
video
true.
games. But
Yeah.
video games, especially during COVID, like
Skyrocketed.
everyone went out
Yeah.
and got a video game system,
Yeah.
bought video
Yes.
games of some
100%.
sort to stay connected. And on Twitch, it's blowing up. On YouTube, it's blowing up. There's professional video gaming now.
Yep.
So do you think that video games, can they fit into someone's life's purpose?
Oh,
Ooh.
It's very interesting because I watched a documentary a little while ago about how the United States Army actually has a program where they are trying to attract new recruits via video gaming.
Wow.
So it's interesting because a lot of, if you, per that documentary that I watched, if you look at how back in the 80s and even before, how they used to recruit individuals, it was through television and then introduced into gaming, and a lot of people and that age range that the military was trying to target for, like, hey, we're not going to just draft you in, but if you want to join, here's an option. They started reaching out,
wild.
through video gaming. And so, it's not that they joined the military just to game, but it's something that attracted them into it.
Yeah.
And somehow I do believe that you can fulfill your life purpose. Or for instance, people who write the scripts for the games, they're writing the script, but that's their purpose.
So I want to chime in on that. As a recent Army retiree of 22 years, just retired. I haven't retired all the way, but my official date is July 26th. So the Army has definitely turned that way, that direction. I did not see that one coming. I've been in the Army for 22 years. I'm still in, but I'm on leave. But as the last five to 7 years, they have definitely turned the game. And actually, one of my good buddies, he's just retired, and he was a gamer, and that was his total job, to game. He was the same MOS as me. He changed his job in the Army to be a gamer, and it was like a competition they went to, and that was his job every single day, to go to different competitions, to go game against different people. Gave him his own console, and this was something he did on his spare time. He played the game, and then the Army opened that up to like some sort of special duty or whatever it is called, but it's very, very new. A lot of people don't know about it. But you go to competitions and all
Crazy.
that kind of stuff. So it's pretty
Never
cool.
knew about that.
So as a Army veteran, finna be an Army veteran now here soon. I think that's a great opportunity to open that up to a different skill set, because you can use gaming in many ways. So on the battlefield as a soldier too as well. So kind of interesting to me. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What you think, Pastor Pam?
I think whatever we do, whether it be out in the workforce, in a secular, we do it all for the glory of God.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing all of this, for God's glory, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because that's why we're put on this planet. That's what we're here for, is to fulfill our God-given potential, whether it be in an area where there is gaming or whatever it might be. But through that, you're going to have connections with people. You're going to have opportunities to share the good news of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's a different society, a different world, but new ways of being able to spread the good news of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's really good. So, as like you said, the Twitch Tuesday, man.
Yes.
Be sure to tune in Twitch Tuesday, Inspired Church. Do you believe that gaming could be an evangelistic tool?
Absolutely. So I shared this a while back, but I was playing a game, random guys all over the world playing Call of Duty, and one of the guys called me out. He goes, "Why don't you just swear? Why don't you just swear? Why do you always use words that are like substitute for swear words? Like, what did you go to church?" And at that moment, I froze up. I really did. I froze up, and I'm gonna tell the viewers this. There was a moment where I was like, because gaming was such a hot topic, and I thought judgment was going to come from whatever answer I gave. And at that moment, I felt God just tell them the truth. Tell them you work at a church. And I did it in the whole lobby. While we're playing, and we're all like shooting each other, and everybody just goes silent. They're like, oh. Right? And I just felt like the atmosphere changed. I felt like God literally was like, hey, my presence is now known because you're choosing to live in that truth. And countless times, I met people all over the world. And I share with them, I work at a church, I play video games, and it changes the dynamic of how we fellowship. Like, it's no longer just about like, and it's the same exact thing about how you talk to people. Once they realize like, oh, he goes to church, he lives a certain way, they want to get to know more, And so I just feel like it's an evangelical tool. It's nothing but a vehicle. When I'm on Twitch Tuesday, I'm all about like, come play with me, or having that great attitude, and because we're like ambassadors of Christ, we're representatives of Christ.
Yes.
And whether we play video games or not, it's all gonna show, the ugly or the nice, right? They're gonna know. And so I just feel like even the way you talk on that mic, the way you play that game, so if you're talking trash, if you're doing that stuff, it will go to show.
Yeah.
There you go. Good job, Alvin.
Thanks, Mama
It
Pam.
is
I
true.
appreciate
Video
that.
game lobbies can be kind of toxic.
Toxic.
Especially in Call of Duty
Call of Duty,
lobbies. Especially
Especially in Call of Duty. That's the testing waters.
So as believers in the video game community, how do you go about filtering video games that you play? Do you filter? Do you need to filter video games that you play? How do you go about being a believer in the video game space?
Absolutely. I'm gonna hit that one off, actually. You got to filter.
Yeah.
If that video game is doing things literally unbiblical, like it's straight, I don't even know what to say it, but if it's like demonic, like it's like it's like straight sorcery, if it's straight, because, and I'm sure Pastor Pam's gonna kind of lean on this, but what you watch and intake, you will adopt sooner or later.
What you see
and so
goes to your heart.
Yeah,
You're right, Alvin.
and I'm right there with Pastor Pam. I gotta say, and this is the most hardcore gamer. Like I play a lot. I played like my whole life, and even I gotta say, if you are not careful, it's dangerous.
You
I'm sure all of us gamers, we can all agree.
Yeah,
definitely.
You definitely have to use your discernment when you're just any piece of media, whether it's a book or a movie, and especially so for video games as well. You're spending so much time, playing through different levels or whatever, and going through different dialogue, that you really have to pay attention to what is actually being said. And if you just kind of, like, one way to protect yourself is if you're feeling uncomfortable when you're playing it, like you're like, I don't know, something just doesn't feel right. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a video game, about sorcery or something like that. It could be something as simple as it could be like a kid's game. Not throwing, like, just as an example, Spyro the Dragon. Not throwing Spyro out. I love Spyro. But
Girl, that's where my heart is at a little
I
bit.
know,
But
right?
that's true. Taking a look at it.
You have to just be able to look at something and say, like, okay, like, do I feel weird about this? And then one thing you can always do is pray, like, okay, hey God, I'm not sure if I'm overreacting or if this is going on, but I feel this kind of way about this game. Should I be playing it? And a lot of times you'll get that confirmation one way or another, because next time you pick up the game, you're going to feel that same feeling like you shouldn't be playing it. But yeah, definitely. I do filter. There are games that I've purchased because I thought it looked cool, and then I played through it, like a couple of missions on it, and I was like, you know what? Something's not right about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just have to definitely, if you don't know how to use your discernment, that's something that you can definitely pray to God, to give you discernment also. And best way to get discernment is to pick up the Bible and read it as well.
Come on, girl.
And I think I can't agree with you more than that. Is like, you need discernment. And I think the discernment is being able to see, and I've always kind of looked at it, having been a former teacher, is kind of like doing a T-chart, is like, does this have something to do with God, or is it something from the enemy's camp? If you start to see things with, like, witchcraft and those kind of things, the Holy Spirit will give you that discernment to say, that may not be the right one for you. But it goes more than just with video games. It goes with media. It goes with books. It goes with anything that we have to make choices in our life. Is this of the world, or is this something that the enemy is trying to draw me in? Because we have an enemy that is always trying to find ways for us to open up those doors and to allow him access. And one of the things that can be done is through media.
It's true.
And I want to say from the father dad perspective, I would say using that filter as well for your kids to know what things they're playing online too as well. Pastor Pam said, your eye gate, you just gotta watch what your kids are doing online. What games are they watching? Just be just mindful of those type of games as a father, as a parent, because there's some stuff, some games that are pretty evil. So just be mindful of those kind of things too as well. So you definitely got to filter when it comes to your kids too as well. Because my kids, they play games online all the time, but we're always going to go and look and see what kind of game they're playing. Make sure it's of taste, of the age appropriate level, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, for sure. Pastor Pam, in the Bible, it doesn't talk about video games specifically. It would be cool if Jesus had a YouTube page or like a Twitch account and he streamed his messages.
That
would be
popping.
Awesome. That would be awesome.
He'd be topping charts.
But from the Bible, okay, we're going to tie it in.
Yep.
Okay.
What would you say the Bible has to say about this topic? Maybe it doesn't address it exactly and be like, thou shalt not video game.
No,
but
it doesn't say
what,
that.
From the Bible, what are some scriptures that you have for us that you would like to share?
It comes really from 2 Corinthians. We need to be very careful about what we watch and what we see, because what we see, we internalize. It goes to our hearts. So we have to be very cautious in that. In Romans 12:2, it says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will." It has a lot to do with your mind. I'm going to be doing a spiritual warfare class next week. But it has to do with in the Bible it talks about strongholds. What is a stronghold? A stronghold is any area in your life where the enemy has been given access. What would that mean? That would mean, like when we talked with Alvin earlier, is like one of the areas is addictive and compulsive behaviors. Once you become addicted to something, you give up your free will, and now the enemy has access into your life. Okay? And so that's what we look at, is transforming your mind, keeping your mind sharp, keeping your mind away from things that could become addictive, things that are self-pleasing, any of those things that, oh, this feels good. Well, it feels good. Let me do it and keep doing it. Then it becomes the, what do they call that? The dopamines go in your brain and you become addictive and you keep doing it over and over. Now you've given the enemy an access. So that's the stronghold we talk about, is to watch those strongholds in our life. And it could be any kind of stronghold. But in this venue, we're talking about being addicted or compulsive or having compulsive behavior in the area of gaming.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for your time. We're just going to go around one last time. Any final statements you guys want to make about this topic? We'd love to hear from you.
I would definitely love to say, when you look at what is happening in the world right now and you're looking at TV shows or whatever, and you're seeing that there's this agenda to really, I'm just going to call it as it is. It's like a Sodom and Gomorrah agenda.
Yes.
Is a lot of things that can pervert the mind. And I think now more than ever, as believers of Jesus, if you are creative, if you're a person who you love video gaming, you love storytelling, you love I don't know how to say it, but like programming to create video games. If this is something that you're interested in and you're a believer, please, now more than ever is the time to get into this field and control the content. Take back, what the enemy is trying to take away from us, which is purity, which is righteousness. You can do something like C.S. Lewis and write a book about a fairy tale, and the understory is in the Bible, whatever it is, like some story, it leads you back to the scripture. So if you're interested, you love that sort of thing, get into the profession.
And I would say, definitely as a believer, just, there's nothing wrong with gaming. Just filter your content. Of course, act appropriate online, in those lobby rooms, those chat rooms. So it's nothing wrong with gaming. Just, just filter that content that you're watching, that you put into your eye gate, your ear gate, what you're listening to as well from those chats. So just be cognizant of that kind of stuff like that. And, just do the work of God. That's all. If you never know who you can reach out through those chat rooms. It could be somebody that's on the other end and need to hear a positive word from you, or what have you. So you never know what people are going through, especially during this time. So that's what my last thoughts are. Yeah,
that's good.
Man, I gotta say, I think one of the biggest things I have seen happen is way too much people hide it. I used to hide it way back in the day, and it was through Inspire. I wouldn't do Twitch Tuesday if I was not honest about what I do. And if you cannot live in honesty when you game, there is something wrong. There is. I got to call it out. But I want to encourage you, be truthful. Say that you game, because that's where passion comes from. When you're passionate, you want to share it. And you gain community around there, right? When you hide it, you've got something bad juju's going on. You got you got something that you're not proud of. I proudly play Call of Duty. I proudly play with a couple people, but because I love it, because the community comes around it. So much biblical aspects come around, because that's the vehicle, right? And so I just gotta say, be open. Don't be afraid. I have encountered so many people, and I gotta break the ice all the time, because I know what a gamer looks like. I know it. I just know it. I'll be like, "What game do you play?" And all of a sudden, boom, the walls come down. Then they're sharing their personal life, and it's because of that. I think all of us gamers, we hide under a shell a little bit because we fear the judgment. But I love people like Pastor Pam. She breaks the ice all the time. It's not about avoiding the gaming, it is the moderation, but it's also just, it could be some of our passions, our deep passions.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because I love winning, guys. I'm competitive. That's where it comes from. Getting that dub is important. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
moderation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you cannot be open about anything you're passionate about, there's always a yellow flag on the play. So
Yeah.
I want to encourage you, be open and join us for Twitch Tuesday. Why not? Fellowship, fun,
Yeah.
the games. Come on, Cedric, join us for some 2K.
Probably will. Go ahead.
Pastor Pam, closing statement.
Oh, I get to end it. First of all, I want to apologize to all the people that are out there that have been maybe hurt by religious people that have put them down or caused them to feel guilt or to feel badly because they're gamers. And I apologize for the religious community if anybody has been hurt, but that's not our hearts. We love everyone. Like I said, Jesus said, love God and love others. And we don't care if you're gay, but do it all in moderation.
So
And it can
good.
be anything that people take to the extreme that we get concerned about, because we love people and we don't want to see people addicted or people that could have a life and they're ruining their lives because they can't get out of a cycle. And so I just want to say thank you for letting me be part of this panel, and that I just love each and every one of you.
Yeah. Thank you, Pastor Pam. That was powerful. Great way to end it. Panel, thank you so much for being a part of this, bringing your heart, bringing your passion from both sides. We really appreciate your time. And thank you all for tuning in for this week, for this episode of Can We Talk About Video Games. We'll see you.
Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Can We Talk? That was an amazing discussion that we had, right?
It was so good, and we would love to continue the discussion with you. Be sure, click to connect. The link is on the screen or in the description. We would love to connect with you. Also, be sure, like, comment, subscribe. If there's a topic that you want to learn a little bit more about, we would love to hear about it. So drop it in the comments. But that is all we have for you. We'll see you on the next episode.
God bless.